Hey everyone, on today's episode we're talking all about the part 2 of the Fireside Chat. We're talking about who we want to meet, who our mentors are, and a lot of mindset shift stuff that took us from right here up to here. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can't see my hands, but it was a pretty big jump. Check it out. Hey everyone, this is Logan with Contractor Growth Network. We're back here for part 2. I'm still here with Chris. Chris, say hey.
Hello, guys.
All right, that's enough. And Brad, what's up, man?
Hey, Fireside Chat.
Fireside Chat,
Names,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so Chris, we already talked about in the first one all about conviction, the new identity. Is essentially, that one was, if you haven't heard it, it was all about if you really want to level up, you have to level up who you are. If you want to grow your company, like it's like when you want to go faster, right? You're trying to go from 100 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour. You can't do it with the same engine. And if you're trying to do it with the same engine, it's just not going to work. So you essentially have to, and this engine is your brain, it's who you are. So that was the whole first conversation. So if you haven't heard it, make sure you go back and check that one out. But the second conversation, Chris is actually leading. He's got a couple of really good questions coming up. So Chris, take it away.
All right, so my first question, I'm going to talk a little bit about the business of stuff. I think it's really imperative we also just let people know who we are. So I'll talk about some life stuff too, if you guys are cool with it.
Of course.
But my first question kind of centers around the idea of mindset shift when it comes to how people have done things previously, right? So both of you guys are in the business of generating leads in a way that's different than many people are accustomed to getting, right? So it's not the lead generation sites, the other home advisors, Angie's List, and things like that. It's not a pay for leads situation. And also you guys really do push for just a different mindset shift of how leads should be obtained. So right now, in your mind, what is the biggest shift that a contractor needs to make in order to be successful and also aligns them working with you?
I'd be happy to start out here. And this is going to be a little harsh, but ownership, guys.
Damn, that was going to be mine.
Damn it. So at the end of the day, I mean, the reason that it was about to be Logan's too is because we every day are hearing, and Chris, you every day are also hearing this, are people that are just leads. What can you do for me? What can you do? Leads. And leads are just not the problem. And it's not even that closing deals is necessarily the problem alone, because something that I tell to some people when they just are fixated on leads, and it takes me a little bit to get here sometimes, but I say, why don't you go knock doors until you go close a deal? Roofing contractors knock a lot of doors. If it was truly just a leads problem, why don't they just go knock doors until they close a deal? Because they can and will. Like it happens. That's the way a lot of roofing companies are built. So for me, the ownership piece is, what are you doing every day to generate yourself revenue? And also hiring someone like myself, hiring someone like Logan, we're not the people that are going to do everything for you or save your life. We're just facilitators.
Can I jump in?
Please.
So the hero of the story is you as the contractor.
Yes.
It's not Logan and Brad. It's not Chris. Sure, shit is not Chris. So
Hey.
So we are the guide. We're the facilitator. We are not the savior. And I think that's what a lot of contractors get wrong when it comes to outsourcing, is they think that it's like, think about it in your own company. There's tasks that nobody wants to do, and you just find the new guy and you just pawn it off on them. Hey, you got to go do this. Right? It was the shit task, and shit rolls downhill, and nobody wants to do it, but you just like pawn it off on somebody else. And when that's the mindset, it doesn't work. So when it comes to marketing, all I'm really good at is taking what you're really good at and amplifying it. I can't make something up. I can't convince somebody to buy when there's not a reason for them to buy. I can't do any of that stuff. I can't force somebody to buy. And a lot of people fail to recognize that. And I remember this when I first started doing marketing for my dad's company. I would get so frustrated with him because he only cared about one thing, and that was the result.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he would say, all right, Logan, like let's talk to the team, like give us like a little marketing report. And I would talk about it, and I would say, well, we got a couple videos coming out, which are really good. I've got a couple blogs that like people are starting to find, and he would go, Logan, like in front of everybody in the company. He would go, Logan, like all we care about is my phone ringing or not. So yes or no, is this stuff working? And I got shut down. First off, you get shut down publicly like that. How do you think I felt?
Probably how Brad normally feels around me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I felt like shit. Like you don't care about anything except for the result. And this is why, I know this is a bit of a tangent, this is why I'm so much of a proponent of participation trophies. Because if the only thing we ever rewarded was the result, every single fucking contractor listening to this podcast, you would be out of business. It's not the result, it's the process. And if you love the process, you will win. If all you are doing is chasing the end result, you're gonna, unless you find a silver bullet, which it doesn't exist, you're going to fail and quit before you get to the end result because you have to love the process.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the marketing. So when he would say like, Logan, like I don't care about any of the blog stuff. I don't care about this or that. I don't care how many people are seeing it. All I care about is, am I closing deals? Well, I took that, I kind of wrapped it into what we do now. But if I talk to somebody, you know, and I've had a couple prospects go, Logan, I don't care about anything. All I want to know is my phone going to ring, yes or no? And I go, you know what? If all you want is your phone to ring, call Home Advisor. Call Angie. Call somebody who gets your phone to ring. Oh, well, those suck. Okay, well, you can't have it both ways. Like, the second that you went into business for yourself is the second that you gave up any right to say you don't care about sales, marketing. All you want to do is build. Great. If you want to build, go work for somebody else. Be a subcontractor for somebody else. All you have to do at that point is build. You don't have to market. You don't have to sell. You know, you may have to pay a little bit of payroll, but it's easy that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And what that comes from is it's scarcity mindset with that stuff. And it's frustrating. But I remember like when I got shot down publicly, I was like, are you serious? Like, do you want this or not? Like, it's a process. But imagine if the first time you built a pond, Dad, it didn't turn out perfectly. Like, you didn't go, oh, well, this was like, I learned from this. Like, you got shot down from the customer. Like, it was so frustrating to me that, and I take that now and like, that was real. I mean, I remember that. I literally can like walk you through where I was standing in the garage talking to the team, giving this report as he like shut me down, and I was just like,
yeah.
Wow, fuck this guy.
Can I ask a question to put this into further perspective? Yeah. Something that you could have asked your dad is, imagine if you, and if I'm wrong here off base.
Just say it.
But imagine if you knew exactly the perfect pond that was always going to be what everyone dreamed of, and you didn't even have to talk to them. But you just knew that you were going to get it right without even dealing with them and without them being part of the process. How do you think your business would be? Would it be doing more revenue than it is now?
Yeah, he would be killing it.
So bringing that back to marketing, Logan would be a billionaire here, and he'd have every single contractor wanting to work with him.
Yeah, hey, man, I just want, here's what I want. I want a bunch of leads of people that go forward, and I only want to pay you, Logan, if they go forward with me. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like, of course, if that was the case, I wouldn't be having to be doing a podcast. I wouldn't have to build a community around what we're doing and the mindset that we're doing. Because it'd be like, hey, who are you hanging out with this weekend, Logan? Oh, Elon. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because, like, everybody would want that shit. But, like, if that was the case, wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Nobody has that secret sauce. So as far as like what I think about people, the ownership piece is big. And I think what Brad, like what he's like alluding to is the idea that like, again, if we want your business to succeed more than you want your own business to succeed, that is not a good relationship. That's not a relationship that I want to be part of. And I tell people that.
It's emotionally draining.
It is because then also if something doesn't go right in the business, who is the first person to get blamed? the person that you outsourced everything over to,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no ownership, there's no like accountability, and you probably talk to the same amount of people as I do with contractors that are like, I just can't find anybody good. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because you think that everybody you're going to hire, you have to babysit. And if that's the mindset, you're probably going for people that you feel like you have to babysit. You're paying them babysit wages and salaries, and when they don't show up, you get mad. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And they don't, and it's like, this is something that bothers me. I might resonate with you, might not, but when they hire you and say they don't know anything about marketing, yet question you on all of your strategies, not to go on more tangents here, but it's like you're hiring people that focus on marketing businesses like yours every day. And it's
like, hey, you're right. Maybe I don't know everything, but this is all I've done for the past 3.5 years, every single day. So
it's like if someone questioned you on your ability to build ponds.
Yeah,
they're a homeowner that says, I know nothing about building ponds, but
I Googled it.
I hate that tarp. I think the tarp that you
used
used is just wrong.
They literally all deal with it, yet they turn around and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a big piece. The ownership piece is huge. The other aspect of it is not realizing that they are way better than they think they are.
Yeah.
They transform lives more than they think they do. They are more helpful in the community than they give themselves credit for, because they are taught to earn an honest wage. What is an honest wage in your, like, Chris, when you hear the words honest wage, what do you think of?
Broke people.
Yep, literally enough to survive, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
what an honest wage is, and that's what we're taught. That's what blue collar is taught. You are only able to earn an honest wage because you're doing honest work, you're making an honest wage, that's all you want. But guess what you can't do on an honest wage? Help your kids go to college, save for retirement, donate 10% to the church, right? There's all these things that you can't do on an honest wage, yet that's what you're fed from a young age. So once you can get over that idea that if you were doing the right stuff, now if you're a piece of shit and you're not doing the right stuff, yeah, make an honest wage, because that's what you deserve, a job just over broke. But if you're going above and beyond for people, you need to be earning above and beyond. If you have the secret sauce, you need to make secret sauce money. If you are transforming these people's lives, everybody, like, how many times have you guys ever gone to the doctor and questioned the doctor about how much they charge?
Never.
Right, because the doctor's saving your life. Well, guess what you're doing? You are literally saving a family, a relationship as a contractor.
Yeah.
You're saving a home from getting flooded. As a roofer, this is $10,000. Well, that's a lot of money. Yeah, how much money is it going to be if you don't fix this hole in your roof and it spills into your top level of your house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah. How does it feel when you know that every time it rains, instead of
You're
it just
scared.
raining, you're scared that your roof is going to collapse?
Same with waterproofing. There's so many things that once you can recognize the problem that you solve, and on top of that, you can communicate that to people, that is when the game changes for you. That is what contractors need to realize, is that they serve a much larger purpose than they give themselves credit for. And then on
Without
top of
them,
that,
what would we even have around us right now? Nothing.
We're under this nice porch, and it's great. The other side of it, or under a nice deck, the other side of it is they know it, but when you cannot convey it, it is entitlement. You are not empowered. There's a fine line of empowerment and entitlement, but
That's
when you are
huge.
when you're not able to actually convey it, it is perceived as entitlement. So when somebody says like, "Wow, that's a lot of money. Why is that?" and they go, "Well, that's just my price. If you don't want to pay it, that's fine. We're not for everybody." The person's like just trying to ask a simple question.
Yeah.
But if you're able to well, that's what it costs. Hey, I got great people. We pay them well. When they're out in your space, they're happy. I could pay them poorly. Do you want happy people working on your deck or unhappy people working on your deck? And it's funny because when you if you break down the cost as a contractor, like in a blog or something like that, and you actually say, okay, you think this is a lot of money. Let me just show you what it costs. This is where the money goes. If you actually broke down, here's my cell phone bill. It's a very small percentage of your job, but this is what it costs. Here's workers' comp, because if somebody gets hurt on your property, I want to make sure that they are safe because I care about my people. Here's this, here's this, here's this. They're going to realize this is actually worth it. And then up to them, or even if it's not worth it, they're not going to get mad at you. They're going to go, wow, well, that's a lot more money than I thought still, so it's just not worth the 30 grand. I thought it was going to be 10. But they're not going to personally get mad at you, which is what I think a lot of people take personally, is that, oh, you don't think I'm worth it? That's like, fine, that's a big F you to me. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying no to the product. They're saying no to what you're able to do for them. They're not saying no to you as the human. So I think that's the biggest thing with contractors, that you got to realize that, one, you serve a much larger purpose than you give yourself credit for, and two, you need to have the ability to show that to people and have them understand it, because if they don't understand it, they're never going to pay for it, and you're stuck in this entitlement cycle.
And stop falling for the stuff that is just representing your industry, and that's like the focusing of the marketing or the lead gen, because that's usually more reserved for just pure lead gen. But like when somebody starts talking about stuff that you just cannot even put your head around, like, I'm not saying that means they're not going to do a good job for you, but odds are, if you can't relate and have like a basic understanding of what is being talked about, then you're probably about to start paying money for somebody just to put your company out there the same way they put all their other companies in the same industry.
Understanding what's happening, you don't have to understand it like at a super deep level, but like, hey, look, how does this work? Oh, this is how it works. Okay, that makes sense to me in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, would you buy it? Like, hey, I want to buy this car. How's it work? Oh, this is how it works. Oh, I don't understand it. Like, you would never buy something that you don't understand. So like, if you don't understand it, like and it just sounds like magic, it's more like voodoo than it is magic. So just make sure you understand it. Plain and simple. You don't have to know like how targeting works on Facebook and about, like retargeting ads and lookalike audiences, but it's just like, if the person can't explain, like, well, when you go on Amazon and you go to check out and you don't actually check out, and then you go on Facebook 2 days later and you see an ad for the shoes that you didn't buy, that's what we're doing for you. That's a retargeting ad. And if they can't explain that, then like, walk away.
But further than that, what I'm trying to say, I mean, I agree with that 100%, but what I'm trying to say is like, if they're like, another way to say it is like, if they're not like really working to get to know you.
Oh, I see what you're
like
saying.
If they're just like sending you some form, and that's what you need to do, and then they're gonna have leads pouring in the next week or something.
It's like too good to
you're
be true.
Gonna work with them for a couple months, and then you're gonna keep on burning through people like that, just wondering what's going on. And sometimes a lot of the time it is their fault, but a lot of the time it's your fault for accepting that, because, and like, once again, going back to ownership, you've accepted the smoke and mirrors marketing tactics, the stuff that people are saying, oh, well, if you do this, this is going to happen, and you're going to get all these crazy results. You're like, well, I don't understand the end of the middle, but I understand the crazy results. Here's my money. Or, hey, marketing companies are scams, which is fine. Yeah, a lot of them are. But a lot of the time it's because you in no way have facilitated it. You've expected it to fail from day one because of things you've heard from other people or that, and you haven't really worked with them. So collaboration is so key, and that's something you need to take ownership of, because there's marketing companies and there's marketers, people that are really, really good at certain things. Like, hey, I can get this website ranking. And both Logan and I have SEO services as part of what we do for contractors after. But imagine if they just don't know you, then they're going to be competing against everyone. Imagine if they can use the skills that they have, but you gave them the real ammo. What makes you different? Why people choose you? It would be much more powerful. And you should be proud of who you are and proud of what you've done. Going full circle into all that is like, you need to know and understand the value you uniquely bring, and then be proud and excited to market that.
That's really that in itself. That was a phenomenal ending, because if you're proud of who you are and who your company is and who you help, like, this is back to the selling idea. If you feel spammy selling people, like when we get on these podcasts, and we say like we are like literally like the leader in this space. There's nobody to our knowledge, and we know a lot of the people that's better than us. If I didn't truly believe it, it would feel spammy, but it doesn't. I don't feel cocky saying it. I just feel like if you got it, flaunt it. Boy, I know you want it. You know, like it just makes sense. So, Chris, does that answer your question?
It definitely does. So I definitely thank both of you for kind of elaborating on that.
Well, you're welcome.
Of course.
As being the facilitator right now, what I do want to do is kind of like take a quick 90-degree turn, right? Just way off of just that path.
Okay.
Talk more personal stuff, right?
Sure.
Both of you guys are business owners.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have had some great ups pretty recently, which is absolutely amazing. You guys had some roadblocks to get there. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about what mindset shift you guys can think of right now that you had to take in your mind to put your business from a plateau, from a rut. How do you what did you do to change your mind, and what sparked that mindset shift? I want Logan to go first on this one.
Okay. So just to rephrase the question, make sure I get it right. To go from a plateau or a rut back to growth mode, what was the mindset shift?
Well, it can be that. I did kind of feed you that a little bit, but what I'm really hoping to get from you is, in your journey
Yep.
thus far, what mindset shift has been most profound that you've had to take, and what sparked that mindset shift for you?
Biggest mindset shift is other people who are there, they have the answer. Listen to them. That when I first started, I always thought, the way that these marketing companies do it, that they don't know what they're doing. That works really well for software. That really works really well for e-com or something else. They're different than me. I'm a different company. I work with contractors. I don't work with coaches. I don't work with e-com. And then you go through trial and error and you spend a lot of money and you realize, wow, that didn't work at all. Let me try it their way, and it works. So that was like my first huge business inflection point mindset-wise of I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to fail in business because that's part of business. That's part of life. But I don't have to fail at step one. Steps 1 through 4 have already been figured out. And I can literally pay somebody to show me how to do that. I'll fail at step 5, but by the time you get to step 5, you're already established. You're already making money. You're already confident in your process. But if you're failing at step 1, then you finally figure out how to do a step 1 on your own, and you get to step 2 and you fail at step 2, and you finally, and it's just like this never-ending cycle of failing at every step. You're working hard, but you're not working smart. So that's my first big mindset shift, was just if other people have the secret sauce, find a way. If you can't afford them, find a way to afford them. I've never made. I lie. There's only been one group or program or anything that I've invested in that I look back and go, that wasn't worth it. Even the ones that I've invested in, that it didn't work at all.
Let's peel it back real quick.
Do I know what that is?
Yeah, you know what that is.
Let's peel it back real quick. Not to flaunt it, but just to kind of put things real. Talk about stuff that you've invested in. Like, give me prices on things that you've invested in and for the business.
Yeah, all right. So just, so in 2020, I created a budget for myself of, I think it was $10,000 was what I wanted to spend on coaching, training, conferences, stuff like that. I think I ended 2020 at $105,000 is what I spent. Okay.
So you spent. So let me kind of throw this out there. You spent $105,000.
Yeah.
In investments.
Yep.
For your company.
And myself.
And yourself.
Yep.
To reach the $1 million mark.
Yeah, but I didn't look at this as I need to do this to hit the 1 million. I looked at this as if I'm going to bet on somebody, I might as well bet on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. So all these skills that I'm learning, this mindset stuff that we're talking about, these are all things that it's not like I learn them for 4 months and they go away. It's not like I'm paying a home advisor like, yeah, it's killing it for 3 months and then like it goes away. These are things that I will use for the rest of my life. So yes, it costs $105,000. However, think of like what I'm going to be able to do with it over the next 60 years.
Yeah.
Right. So as far as price points, I spent a lot of money last year, and it was scary at first. Right. I remember it was in early January. The first thing I bought was $5,000, and it was called a Vivid Vision. And what a Vivid Vision is, if you've never heard of this before, Cameron Herold, who grew 1-800-GOT-JUNK from like $2 million to like $150 million in like a couple years. It's this, essentially, it takes everything that's going on in my head of where I want to take this company, how I want it to look, revenue numbers, people on the team, all that stuff, and it puts it into a document that my whole team now knows. Because I, probably just like most entrepreneurs listening to this, I ping pong all over the place. I am an activator. I'm a catalyst. I can get stuff going, but as far as getting it going and then keeping it going is where I have issues. So if they know, okay, here's a program that Logan wants to start, here's an idea that he wants to have, well, this is really Logan's vision, it all aligns with it, right? So what's the ROI of having a vivid vision? I don't know. But when I spend $5,000, it's very easy to go, well, this is going to directly pick up 10 new clients, so why would I spend money? But in reality, I can't even tell you how much it helps when I go to hire people. I walk them through. I go, hey, you want to learn about the company you're working with? Let's pull up this document together. And we walk through, this is where I see this company going. Here's our values. Here's the culture of the team. Here's how much money we're all making. I mean, to you two, what do you think that does as far as hiring when they can see where like the company as like in like a screenshot?
I think it's massive. I mean, I think that's the type of thing is like, so as a lot of y'all can understand as entrepreneurs, we're bouncing around ping-ponging
all the time.
But that also, as the entrepreneur, as the owner, sometimes we don't have the clarity either and aren't capable of expressing it in that smooth and even of a way. And it feels like it changes even sometimes for us, though I don't think it really does in as big of a way as maybe we feel like it does if we explain it one day differently than the next. But no, I love that. And I read yours. It's amazing.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And for me, like, yeah, I saw it. And like the big thing for me is like you get that clarity. So you got clarity and control. That clarity and control, you got to produce and you repeat that. That's all you got to do.
For
over
sure.
and over and over again.
That's the game.
And so when I saw it, hopping on board, I'm I give Logan a hard time about most things, but I'm just as bought in.
He's serious. He really does.
I'm just as bought in about exactly what to do. I'm just
so just really quick with your mic, it's not necessarily like you need to like hold it closer. It's just when you turn your head to look at Brad, you turn it and you can't really hear it because the mic is only
gotcha. So I should keep it close to my chin.
Yeah.
That's why people do this, huh?
That's leadership right there, guys.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So before I had this situation, am I not doing it right now?
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Oh my goodness,
you're doing a great job.
All right, I know I'm doing a great job, but I don't need you to tell me that. But anyway, so like I'm very, very like just like once again like I give Logan a hard time about most things. We have a really awesome dynamic that I think that many people would maybe envy because we could joke, we can argue, we can have productive conversations on a consistent basis, and it's all about
within
growth.
one sentence.
Yeah, within one sentence, right? I love the kid to death, and I think the biggest thing is when I was able to clearly see where he was going, he got buy-in from me. Like, Logan, have I produced more than $5,000 for this company?
You produce a lot.
So if I produced more than $5,000 for this company, then it was worth it because he got buy-in from me. He got buy-in.
There we go.
Yeah.
He got buy-in from
ROI.
me. Let's go next to
real quick. Let me tell a quick story about Chris and the buy-in.
Oh my
So
goodness.
where do you think you don't even know where I'm taking this?
Yeah,
This is good on you. This is a good
the
one on
only
you.
thing is, I'm just super glad that my mom and my grandmother are not contractors because every time Logan says, "Oh, I got a quick story for you," I just think back to some of the more ridiculous things I've done in my life.
No, this
and
is
sadly Logan has been there for
we
me.
should
So.
we'll start a second podcast and it's just gonna be called Chris's College Life. But we need like visuals for it. So what was happening is when we were pushing for the final $1 million mark, right? We would come in and we have recurring revenue because that's part of our business model, which if you're listening to this, we have podcasts on that. You need to get a recurring revenue business model. It works so well. You can do it in any industry. That's a different how we should probably actually do a webinar on that because like I think people would love that. But what I want to do is I knew we were going to hit the $1 million mark, right? I knew we were going to hit it because we have recurring revenue coming in, but I didn't want to hit it on recurring revenue, which is stupid because it's like, it's like in my mind it was like making the playoffs not by winning the game but by losing the game, but another team losing the game, right? So it's like you win by default or you make it in by default. And that's why I felt this was. So I remember when we were pushing, for the remaining week that we were close, we were like within 10 grand. And every day I would come and I would go, Chris, you know what today is? And he would go, is it a good day to hit $1 million? I'm like, yep, it's a good day to hit $1 million. Like even like Audrey, like my girlfriend, is like texting Chris, like, hey Chris, you know what today is? Like everybody was bought into this. And what happened was Chris got somebody to move forward and he said, look, it sounds like you're going to move forward with us. What if we do this? We are $1,600 away right now from hitting our goal. Put that money down and we'll work out the rest later. So the guy puts the money down, and Chris, because we have 2 different offices, comes sprinting into my office and shows me his phone, and it is the guy's credit card. And Chris goes, he's putting $1,600 down right now. Let's go. So I put it in. It goes through. Our P&L hits $1 million.
Boom.
And I was like, oh my God. But to see Chris come sprinting in, and on top of that, I shared this video with you.
Yeah, I cried.
On
not
top
gonna lie.
of this, I'm like, okay, cool. This is 3:45 on a Friday, so I'm like, okay, let's go out. I'm gonna tell the team, because we always have an end of the week wrap up 4:15. I tell the team, I'm like, hey guys, guess what happened? I was like, Chris, you tell them. And Chris was like, I got something better. Chris had gone out, and he's only been working for a few months, and got everybody on the team, got my family, got friends, got clients to all record a video.
He didn't ask me.
He didn't ask Brad. He would have if he had known that Brad was even in existence. He had everybody literally record a video, and then Alex, our video guy, pieced it all together, congratulating me on the million, which was but I mean that amount of buy. Imagine if you're listening to this, if you hit your sales goal, and then one of your employees gets everybody that in your sphere to congratulate you, that is that meant so much.
And that doesn't happen with just friendship.
No.
That's buy-in right
buy-in.
there.
So it was unbelievable. It really was.
And buy-in to you
Yeah.
as the leader as well as your goals, which is a cool combination. And I mean, Chris is no follower. So
No. he's not.
Chris beats to the beat of his own drum. Some days it's watching him and Logan interact is so funny. But in general, that's real buy-in, and it's cool.
Okay,
It's
so
cool
for
to
you-
even watch on that.
So
from the
for you,
outside.
Brad, your mindset stuff, let's walk through the same thing that I had to walk through.
Sure.
Chris asked me.
Mhm.
What's your answer?
So, I mean, I think it's a ownership in its own right. And what I mean by that is kind of learning the same lessons that I would encourage a lot of the people listening to learn is you can't outsource things. I was lucky, and I mean,
Hold up.
Yeah,
Let's mix
rephrase that,
yeah,
because there's
because-
certain things you can outsource, but there's also certain things that you can't. So when you say you can't
okay.
outsource things, what can you not outsource
Good
in
point.
relation? Yeah,
Yes,
because we're
I am.
because if you can't outsource things,
Then
you-
I don't
yeah,
have a job. Yeah.
no.
Okay. Thanks for slowing me down. So you can outsource vision, effort. I mean, if you want things to happen in a certain way, then you need to make sure that you're showing up.
No, you're good on the mic. I just see you fiddling with those buttons over there.
Oh, I'm trying. No, I'm keeping them.
Okay.
I'm very careful. My hand's cramping.
So
but
this is a good conversation. I just want to make sure that
no, it's okay.
that we're keeping it going. So
Yeah. So what I mean, I guess, is there's not a magic pill, really. It's a matter of getting up and showing up every day. The people that you view in your life, the contractors that you see being really successful, it's not by chance. It's really not. They're doing things differently than you are doing themselves. They didn't hire one person that just took everything to the next level. And if they did hire some rock star, like Chris is a rock star right here, but the reason that Chris is able to show up like he can, and the reason that Chris is able to succeed in this environment as well as he can, he's someone that will be successful not in any environment, but in any environment that he feels like his full ability to thrive in, and that's on the leader. So that's something that really, I guess, has been big for me is you got to keep going. You got to keep trying. Like, you're not going to run one ad campaign that's going to change your life. You just got to keep pushing. And it went down to just showing up. I mean, not putting things off, leading by example. Started trying to take cold showers, take care of myself and my mind space a little bit more, because I started realizing how important it was to show up every day. When I got into work, when it's time to put on the owner of Elevated Solutions hat, I need to be my best self. And I think the ownership that comes with that, there's a lot of ways to do it, but understanding that it's on you and not someone else's responsibility to get your company where you want it to be was big for me. And it might sound obvious, but my guess is a lot of people listening to this are going through learning that lesson, or maybe still need to.
It's not a silver bullet. There are systems out there that you can follow, but you got to put the work into that system. So regardless of what it is, it's not a silver bullet. And
it's still, you have to make that same system your system.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the dynamics and the steps don't still stay mostly the same, but you have to figure out at each step how that's going to be yours, how you can take ownership of that system while you're a part of it.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to quickly chime in my mindset situation.
Please,
since you guys didn't ask me. You guys are, assholes. But anyway, for me, my mindset came from, this probably sounds superficial, but I sell, on the most part, a $10,800, package. That's the product that I sell.
As of now.
Sorry, yeah. So I sell a $10,800 package. Thankfully, I would say all besides maybe a couple weeks of my situation being at CGN, I could always afford to buy a $10,800 package.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed was when I could not buy a $10,800 package, I came to work, I came mentally in a totally different space, because I was interacting in a way that's totally different than what I would imagine. I came from a place of scarcity. And scarcity in that portion of it. And one thing I've noticed, and this is not a bad thing, but I think it's something that should be understood, something that should be thought about, is if you are a contractor and the average project, or you're trying to sell $40,000 bathrooms, $60,000 kitchens, and you can't physically afford that yourself, you may not know this, but subconsciously, you are putting a little bit of that doubt in your process as well. I was doing it. I was guilty as fuck for doing it. I was not able to come from a clear place of consciousness to tell someone with confidence that my package costs $10,800, and it's because of the fact that at that point in my situation, I couldn't just take out the card, swipe the card for that amount of money and go forward. So for me, it's a place of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Do you have to make the money first, or, so you can do it? I think that as long as you have a conscious understanding of that your lack of financial resources can and probably will affect how you come forward out and present it to another person, then you have to be cognizant of that and just make sure that you are showing the extreme value that you provide.
Yeah.
So that was probably my biggest mindset shift on that, just coming from that portion of scarcity to being abundant in that way. And
So let me jump on that real fast. So
that's a big topic right there.
And I've talked a lot about this, and I've thought a lot about this. It's funny because like with my dad, I hear him talk to other contractors like, well, just like if they don't want your stuff, just like independently wealthy, like you're good. But unfortunately, most people are not in that position. They don't have all this money in the bank. They don't have hundreds and hundreds of leads of people that want to work with you. So you can essentially pick and choose. They're not in that position. And if you're not in a position where if you don't have $80,000 of just disposable income that you could spend on a kitchen renovation, yet you sell $80,000 kitchen renovations to people that have that disposable income, it's not going to work unless you do one thing. and that is understand the value of what it is that you sell.
Yep.
If you can understand how beneficial to that person's life this $80,000 kitchen is, and you truly believe that, you can sell it. But if you yourself are a DIYer,
What's an example? Can I cut in? What's an example of, for a kitchen, what can that do for a homeowner?
so what
I don't want to. Don't mean to cut you off.
Can I go first because I just bought a house?
Yeah, let's do it.
So
Sorry for cutting you
no,
off.
you're all good.
I bought a house from a builder. If he starts paying me, I'll mention his name. But anyway, I bought a house from a builder, and they had a couple different styles of houses, right? I think it's about 4 different plans. And one of the plans I thought was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. But beside the fact that I didn't like about it was the fact that the kitchen and like the living space downstairs, it was not connected. Right? And I'm like, damn it, like this place is perfect, like everything about it. Like, I mean, I got the office I need, I got the bedrooms I need, I got the loft that I want, got a big, open closet for the, for the baby mama, wife, girlfriend, whatever we're calling her right now. Megan, I love you very much. But everything was perfect in that situation, but it did not have a kitchen and a living space that were connected. What did that mean? Well, for me, I vividly saw in my mind a scenario where I'm cooking or Megan's cooking and we're able to still have interactions with a TV, with the child, with family. And I said, in this home, I cannot do this. I cannot have those memories. I cannot facilitate those actions that I felt were super and strong important to me. I grew up in a house. I mean, Logan, you've been in my house before.
Yep, it's nice.
Where we have a kitchen and a seating area that are connected. There's legitimately nothing in between.
It's an open space floor plan.
It's an open floor plan, and that was important to me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, you know what? This house is perfect, but this was a big but. A big but. It was not there. So I went to another plan, and the thing it had one less bedroom. It didn't have the office space that I really wanted. I'm going to convert a part of the one of the rooms into an office. So, but that was way more important to me. So what can a kitchen do for you? A kitchen can make you feel fulfilled. A kitchen can make you take ownership of your own home. A kitchen can allow, like, it is the first place, it is where you congregate as a family. It is where
memories.
It is where you make memories. It is where you go to have, so many of my, like, I mean, do you remember family times you had in your room? Do you remember, do you remember family times you had in your parents' room? Do you remember family times you had, like, in your home, anywhere, place outside of a kitchen?
The kitchen.
Yeah.
It's kitchen. Actually, it's kitchen
And living
screen
room.
and porch.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say the other places aren't important, but I went to my room to escape my parents, escape my brother who's always beat my ass, and that's it. I went to my room to do that. I went to my parents' room to bug them, and I love them so much, but I was put on this earth to bug my parents, so I was I was in their room to bug them. But every memory that I have in my life in that home, when you came to my home, when my friends came to my home,
all we did was hang out.
We all hung out in the kitchen.
It was like half the people are in the kitchen, half the people are there like in like the living room, which is it's all connected because you like turn around and you're right there. So, long story short, Brad, this is what contractors do for people when it comes to a kitchen. They allow them to make these memories, yet what they do is they undersell themselves and they say, I'll build you a really nice kitchen.
Because it still has price
Correct.
anchored to it, and it shouldn't.
Correct. Because what you're looking at is, if you associate the cost to these family memories over a 15-year period, right? When you actually break it down, like, okay, for $1 a day over 15 years, is that worth you building these memories with your kids before they leave the house? Because it's like, up until the age of 18, once kids like leave home, it's like of the amount of time that you guys spend together in the entire life, 95% of that is before the age of 18. So think of all the great conversations you guys currently have with your parents right now, all the great stuff. You've actually spent 95% of the time that you'll ever spend with your parents before you graduate from high school.
And you're messing me up right now.
Isn't that
man.
crazy? Because
Yeah.
now, when they're like, hey, you want to come home? You're like, no, I'm all good. You realize you spent a lot of time together. So when you add to that you can't spend that time together because the kitchen is closed off and it's walled off, because the kitchen used to be for like the help, right? Like it was isolated, and you would shut the door. Like my parents' house is still like that. Like we have a dining room where like you can shut the door off from the kitchen, because like I was like, why'd you guys get that? And they're like, I don't know. We were just like, we thought that was like the style.
Yeah.
Like, so you think of that, and if all you do is position yourself as, whoa, you're going to get a kitchen with a beautiful backsplash, and you're going to have a really nice island, versus you're going to have an island that has stools, so it's a breakfast bar, and imagine three kids are going to be sitting there doing homework or talking with you while you're cooking. And these are the conversations that we have. These are why a lot of the contractors we work with do what they do. And these are the things that we market for them, and we put them out there because, again, it's not on us to make some shit up. But if you already know that people, like, literally you're transforming their lives, and you're
A little
like,
bit of extra counter space can
Yeah.
transform somebody's life and
it's like, think of like
entire
I can
bank of
appreciate that.
memories.
Yeah,
Definitely
like
appreciate
it's
that.
I mean, you're about to have a kid, and like imagine if I was like, all right, Chris, like you're gonna have a kid, but like you're gonna be like isolated from them the whole time. Like how much would that suck?
Yeah, it would suck more than that I would care to say right now.
Yeah, so that's essentially what we try to do here, is we're trying to like show them that you make a much bigger difference than you give yourself credit for, and once you can get over that fact, and in fact once you can lean into that, it's game on, because everybody will buy from you, because that's what they want.
People
Right?
buy off emotion, so stop being scared to sell on emotion.
Exactly. So that's a huge mindset shift on top of all this, is that like once you realize you are providing a much larger service than you give yourself credit for, it is game freaking on. But if you stay in that scarcity, this is what I'm good at the actual trade stuff, it's tough. It's tough to ever get past that.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that mindset stuff. One thing that kind of crossed my mind as we were talking was something we talked about today in like our training, right? And it was this idea of marketing in a more deliberate way. It's like this friendship funnel situation, right? You know, I talk
A lot.
I do talk a lot, but oh gosh, no, I talk a lot and I own it. But I also talk a lot to contractors that consistently tell me that they know the value, they've seen the value of posting, organically posting. I mean, you guys have stuff where people can pay for it, right?
Yep.
But organically posting, but
Time out real fast. What do you mean organically?
okay, so not fruits and vegetables, but what I mean by organic is the fact that it's non-paid. Just simply is non-paid.
It's the free version. You just go on Facebook, you say, hey, type a post, you put it out there. That's organic posting.
And the thing is, I thought this was really cool when I saw this today, is we are all very, very good at organic posting, right? You're good at it. How many books have I read or, told you I read? How many books have I read when you told me, hey, these are good books to read? I've listened to one audiobook. You've organically gotten me to be able to listen to those books, Logan. People out there, I'm able to consistently be able to tell people, hey, this is what I mean, for clothing wise, hey, this is what you should wear for some clothes. Or this is a good opportunity for that. Or, flights to buy, what companies to use, flights to buy and things like that. So we're all really good at organically selling, other things in our lives, recommendations for church, recommendations for schools, recommendations for Airbnbs or, vacation spots. We're all really good at that organic selling, but we fail sometimes to do that in our own businesses. We don't organically sell. Once again, when I ask people all the time, why do people refer them out? It's, communication, it's professionalism, but when it boils down to it, the answer most of the time is it's the contractor. It's them.
It's the personality. Yeah, it's the man behind the scenes. And what's funny is most of us are afraid to post, not because we're afraid that our potential clients are going to see it and think that we're dumb. We are all afraid to post because we're afraid of what the friends from high school that we never talked to are going to think of us.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
So
it's not friends. I mean, maybe it's friends. To me, it's not family. it's the friends from high school that you never talk to.
I don't even think friends, just people that
people
you know
in high
are
school.
on your friends list
Yes.
that you've always associated
Right,
with.
but it's
usually.
funny because like they're never gonna buy from you.
I got
you
one
don't ever
guy that's
talk to
called
them.
me, "Oh,
And-
Mr. Facebook." It's
Yeah.
like, I'm glad I'm
we're
doing
all,
better than
and
you.
I've talked to contractors about this, about specifically high school, because that is the time in which those are your formidable years. And I put out a post and I was like, yeah, like I don't think I was cool in high school. Like I don't feel I was cool. I wasn't, like all that kind of stuff.
Chris Livingston was very cool in high school. So
I believe it.
and
If you wore sweaters like that, then
yeah,
I'm sure
so-
you were.
But it's funny because like, and every single contractor that responded to me said I was not cool in high school, and even some of them said, look, I was on the outside, I was cool. I was a jock. I was like the captain of the basketball team. But realistically, I came from a poor family. I didn't feel like I fit in. So whether you were actually cool or not, I don't think many people actually feel like they were accepted in high school. And we're all afraid to post stuff because we're afraid of what the high school people are going to think, even though it doesn't matter what they think about our
Yeah.
business. And what's even funnier is anytime I post stuff, like I have friends from high school
That just
that I thought were
randomly-
going to judge me
Yeah.
are like, wow, this is really cool. Hey, man, that's awesome. And they'll like text me and stuff. And I'm like, wow, I thought you were going to shit on me. But in reality, you support everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, I
So
have some
we don't-
random people that are just like show me love on every post
Dude.
that are like from so far back
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
life. It's like, man,
amazing.
this is awesome.
It's amazing. Yet we build up this story in our head
Yeah.
that they don't.
What story are you telling yourself?
Yeah, like and that's the thing. So everybody's afraid to post because everybody's afraid of what high school's gonna think, or some people they're afraid of family. To me, I have a very supporting family, so like my family's cool, but like
likewise.
it's the high school friends.
Yeah. I'd love to touch on this really briefly, and it goes back to kind of reframing what Chris began reframing the definition of organically selling. He's like convincing someone to go to this school, convincing somebody to wear these clothes and all of that, and we're all pretty good at it. If we feel really passionate about something, we think it's the best decision for one of our friends, it's pretty easy to convince them. But now imagine, like, and maybe this is something that y'all have experienced. Texas, by the way, sorry about the y'alls. So
We're North Carolina, man. We're
okay,
south.
yeah,
south.
we're good.
Yeah, we're south.
So imagine when your friend doesn't buy from you. You know they just got their kitchen remodeled and they didn't buy from you. Why are you offended? Is it because you know you provide the best, if you have the best crews and you just have the best, like you have access to the best granite farm or whatever the hell it is? Or is it because you know that you feel like that's kind of a diss on your friendship and who you are, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I think that's another way to look at
we
it.
take it too personally.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of posting, granted, I'm not really afraid. Well, I'm going to go out there and say I'm not afraid to post. I think, I don't know, sometimes I don't care to, but I'm not afraid to.
Sure.
But I'm definitely recognizing, not recognizing,
Okay.
I know the value of it.
Well, let me say this. Okay, so that's the second question is not being afraid to is different than motivated to do it.
Okay, yeah. And so for me, the big shift for me was the idea of, yes, it can come off as pompous, invasive, all the other things. If you're always posting, hey, come buy my, whatever,
Yeah.
come buy this.
Bye,
but
bye,
at the
bye.
same time, if your stuff is that good,
If it's that good,
I
right?
love it. Like
Yeah.
there's certain people that like I know at the end of every single video they put out there, or every single webinar, they pitch me, and I look forward to it because every time they pitch it, I'm like, wow, this is really good. I'm gonna buy it, and it always works out. So I think once you get to that point where what you offer and your value is so good, you can pitch all day long, and it is game on.
And that's what I want to say. I totally agree with that.
Oh, sorry.
And well, thank you for saying that. And I think
He
that
wasn't gonna say that.
definitely was going to say that. But what I
A
was gonna-
little glimpse into
Yeah.
the
Our
real
relationship.
banter.
This has been 10 years of this.
They're both tired.
Yeah.
the funny thing about it is you have a certain inflated idea of what people think of you as far as, oh, I'm posting so much, they're going to get tired of me. Like, no, bro. They have hundreds and thousands of other friends on Facebook and social media, and they don't like they value you for what you are posting because they know that you're the best person to do this, and they appreciate you posting this stuff.
Your stuff doesn't show up on their feed that
Yeah.
much if they
No,
literally
it doesn't,
never even
yeah.
care and
Yeah.
never engage or
Yeah.
anything. Then they don't see you.
They're not going to get bombarded with your content. No one has. I mean, the only time that I think people are bombarded with content is during around election time. They're like, I'm tired of seeing election commercials. Outside of that, I don't know anyone out there who is saying, I get sick and tired of looking at this commercial. You know, but you sure as hell know the McDonald's jingle. You sure as hell know J.G. Wentworth. You sure as hell know, all those things. And that's what branding is for. So when I decided, hey, like, you know what? I want to, get something. I want to get a phone out there. I didn't have to think too hard. I know the Apple iPhone's out there because they've done a great job at branding. If I have a, if I have a cash settlement and I need cash now, I know I have to call J.G. Wentworth.
What's their number?
If I 877 cash now.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty good. But I think also if I was in the military from 2008 to 2015, I know that they've got these M3M Ear Pro situation. They had a problem with that. So it's like I know all those things because they branded themselves in a good way. So you have to put yourself out there consistently. That's the biggest thing. And if you have a problem thinking, oh, what should I put myself out there for? What should I do? Just continue to show things that you probably don't think people find that important or find that, sexy or find that awesome. But the fact that you're consistently showing value, hey, I'm in this kitchen right now, and this homeowner is super excited because they want to be able to transform this closed-off floor plan to an open floor plan. They really love kitchens in their area, so we're really going to make sure we take care of the countertops and stuff. We're give them great spaces to store stuff. They do a lot of stuff. We have a pot filler here, and we're going to show you how it turns out. And along the way, we had to take care of this and this and this. We put this, high grade, caulk here so we can make sure this is smooth, whatever it may be, right? That value that you're showing is all you've got to do.
And what's funny is, because I've talked to clients about this, because we have part of our email marketing program is we do a couple emails a month. But what happens is people say, oh, you can't send more. We promise our customers we won't ever send them more than one email per month because we don't want to spam them too much. And I'm like, okay, time out. So you just admitted that what you're sending out to them is spam. Oh no, well I didn't mean spam them, but And I'm like, no. Okay, let's talk about this, because the way that this was presented to me and it finally clicked to me is both of you guys, do you guys follow any meme accounts on Instagram?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Well, actually, you send me a lot of memes that are on accounts.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Very inappropriate meme.
Yeah. Well, okay, so with these meme accounts, are most of the memes pretty funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they post 3 funny memes, and just so you know, if you're older, a meme is like a funny image. If
You might call it a meme.
I mean, whatever you want to call it. I mean, if they posted 3 a day, and all of them, when you saw them, made you laugh, is 3 too many?
No.
Right. If they posted 10, and all 10 of them made you laugh, is that too many?
Hell no.
Right. So if it's good and valuable, and most of all, entertaining content.
If they post 3 a day, if they post 10 a day that make me laugh, and 10 a day and 3 of them make me laugh, then I'm still
it's
okay
still
with
worth
it.
So what the problem is the problem is not that you can't send too many emails. It's the fact that the emails that you send or the things that you put out, you feel are crappy. Half the time, if you're trying to sell something, they are crappy. And I'm not saying don't sell stuff, but I'm saying if you're doing it in a spammy way, that you go, well, I get solicited this way and I don't like it, but I'm going to do it because somebody else does it. Well, there's probably a good chance that people are not going to like it. But if you do it with the end user in mind, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to do this for real. There's no maximum amount of emails that you can send. There's no max Facebook ads you can put out. There's no max posts, because if people enjoy it, they love it. It's good. It's good content.
And the consistency is so important
Yeah.
with it, because not everyone who's following your account or who's on your email list or any of that is ready to buy a kitchen. Not everyone, but being consistent is the way that you can ensure that you're still around the right people.
Yeah.
I saw something today that said that 80% of people buy between the 5th and 13th touch.
Yeah.
80% of people.
So if you call them one time and they don't answer, great, call them 4 more, because now you're rocking in like that 80 percentile.
100%.
All right, Chris, ask us one final question before we lead it out.
All right. So we're going to go with something that's a little kind of more off script.
So off script that he's trying to make it up in his head as we speak.
Whoa, 100%. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. All right, so sit down at this table. No, sit down at this table.
Done.
All right, with someone,
That's not a very good question.
past or present, historical figure,
Okay.
anyone.
I
Who
like
is
that.
it? Why? And if you only can ask them one question, what question are you asking them? So historical figure, past or present, so that means dead or alive.
I'm a big space guy.
Okay.
I would choose Albert Einstein, and I would ask him how he was able to make it fun. Can I give you context or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
So, Albert Einstein was a very playful person, and like all throughout.
You knew Albert?
Yeah, I knew him. We were boys, pen pals. So he was like, in like all reports are that he was able to make things fun and all of that, and also like his thought experiments and all that. Like he came up with just in his head, not by writing down. He was good at math, but most of his stuff came to him, and then he made it reality by writing all of that down. Probably one of the most entrepreneurial scientists that there ever have been. So I kind of think all of us in the entrepreneur world operate in some way like that. So how was he able to continuously make it fun?
All right, that's fair. All right, Logan, go ahead.
George Washington.
Carver or
Nope, no more. I love peanut butter.
okay.
But our founding father, George Washington. And here's the question. We all struggle building a 2, 3, 4, 10-person team, yet he was the first president of a government that he had to create. So my question would be is how did you become motivated, or like what was the motivation there to actually go through? Because think of like, contractors are not, and business owners, we're not physically lazy. The reason we don't succeed is we're mentally lazy. We don't want to do the stuff that is not in our zone of genius. We don't want to deal with the marketing, the sales, the hiring. We just want to build because that's what we know how to do, right? So to level up, you got to be like intellectually and mentally ready to go. And we all struggle with building a small team. Yet they created an entire freaking government from the ground up. What was the motivation there? I would love to like just hear how that all went down,
That's cool.
because it's just like, and we all complain about the government, we all complain about wasteful spending and this and that and corruption and all this stuff. However, we can't even handle our own little fucking team, let alone hundreds of thousands of people. Like, think of the systems that have to be built. We all shit on corporate America as small business owners, yet corporate America is only there because of the redundancies they put in there, the corporate crap that we all look down on, yet they're the ones making hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're out here struggling day in, day out. So
Yep.
I would love to know the motivation behind all this stuff, because that is building straight up a full-on system from the ground up.
That's cool.
Nice.
What about you, Chris?
All right. If I had to choose any person, past or present, I would choose Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
And the question I would ask him would be, how do you do it without becoming spiteful? So like he was in jail during apartheid, came back, was the leader of South Africa, was, charged with galvanizing that country in a very hard time. And I just want to know how he was able to do it without being spiteful to the same system that had condemned him for so long, to come back and serve them in a way that I've never seen, happen before. So that's probably what I would ask.
That's a good one.
All right, cool. So guys, Fireside Talk, I hope this was helpful for everybody. I'm sure it was in some facet. So thank you very much. If you want to jam with us more, head over on Facebook, Common Sense Contracting Facebook group. We'll see you over there. And I don't know when this one's releasing, but we do a lot of Facebook Lives that are all about helpful trainings, and that's your time to have Q&As, talk about everything, and all the conceptual stuff that we're doing here. over in the Facebook group. We'll show you how to like actually put it into place so you can level yourself up. Maybe come join us here one day. Thank you very much. See you guys next time.